Hello and welcome back to the shed. In today's video we're going to be building a nice quick and easy storage tray to help store tools in the beginner toolbox we made in the last video. Hope you enjoy. So for this particular toolbox it will have two trays in it. Today we're only going to be building one. I'm going to be just using some 12mm pine that I've got here that's just from the store, already dressed and ready to go. Just makes it a little quicker and easier, and for any beginner out there you can just grab the timber and get straight to work. Now because this is for the beginner toolbox, we're not going to do any convoluted or difficult joinery again. There's a couple of different options. You can use something like these wooden nails here to help glue and then hold the whole thing together, or we can use screws, which is what we're going to do today, just like we did with our beginner toolbox if you've seen that video. I'll leave the link in the description if you haven't. You have to obviously size the tray. Now the tray in this particular toolbox is going to go in the length of the toolbox, so it's going to be I think it was 715mm long and like 120 wide, something like that. So now that that's out of the way, let's get to sizing the sides of this tray up and we'll get to making the tray. So now we can go ahead and attach this. I'm going to use the same corner clamps if you saw me make the toolbox. I'm not going to glue and screw these, I'm just going to straight screw them because that's all they should need to hold this together, as they are trays, and because of the span of it, and we're going to have a bottom screwed onto the bottom of this just like we did with the toolbox. Now we've got the main part of the tray together, let's go ahead, get the sheet of plywood up here and we'll get the bottom attached. So now that the bottom's cut, just going to lie it on here, line up the factory edge because they're straight, screw it into place and then tidy up the edges where we overcut the line to make sure that it's all nice, neat and tidy. So what I'm doing here is just attaching 2 screws here to stop the entire thing moving before I go ahead and drill all the screws and put the remaining screws in. Anywhere around the edge here where you might be over because you've overcut the line, you just need to allow for that extra depth when you're putting the screw in. So I suggest you start in an area where you can roughly see where the alignment is and then follow that alignment right the way through. So you can see there that I squared up the plywood to the base, used a bit of sandpaper to just help with the chamfers after running the hand planes over on the corners. And that's just making the whole box nice and smooth to the touch now, so it feels great and you're not going to have any sharp splintery edges. Now that the tray's done, we can look at installing it. Now off camera I've gone ahead and made the second tray that I said was going to be in this one, so we're ready to go and install both trays. So I'll bring you in here and I'll go through the process that I'm going to use, which is very simple I might add, to add some tracks for these trays to run on. The whole beauty to this system starts with the trays. Now if we take note here, one tray is longer than the other. So the tray I made off camera is about 12mm longer than the tray we made together. And therein lies the secret to this track system. Now obviously I've done these packer blocks. They're the width of the box. I've determined the height of my highest tool, and that's the height these go up to. And then I've determined the height of this second tray up to this top till and the gap, and that determines how large these smaller ones are. So let's go in and we'll install them here, and you can see how they work. So the way this works, we put the wider piece down on the bottom here. Now this is just friction fit here at the moment, but I'd suggest you use some double-sided tape just to hold these to the side, and that just means that the whole box is still modular and you can change it up if you want to, because these are going to be easily removed, rather than if they were glued in they'd be staying there. So if you want to change the size of your tills and the height of your tills, you can just take these out because they're held in with double-sided tape. These thinner ones just sit on top. And there you see we have a double tier, so we've got a little riding gap here and another riding gap up here. So if I go and put these tills in, we put the larger one in, and that sits here and moves here. And then, because this top one is a little bit longer, we put that in here, and it rides on top here nicely as well. And there you have it. That's how we install these. So I'm going to go ahead and use some double-sided tape, or you can just leave them like this because they can't really go anywhere because They're nice friction fit, but if you do make the blocks a little bit smaller, as I said before, some double-sided tape will work well. So my idea behind this narrow till is that it's easy to remove, and it's just very modular. Whether you decide to have the top tray or not have the top tray, it's really up to you. So there you have it, folks. That's how you make this style of till and install them into your toolbox, so you have some nice trays for storage. And the double bonus is that you can take these trays out because they're screwed in on the base, so they're nice and strong, so you can remove them if you need to access stuff that you can't access from the top. But the other option is that you can just slide them side to side to access some stuff below if need be. So there you have it, folks. That's how easy it is to add some trays for additional storage to your beginner toolbox. So if you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing, checking out my Facebook and Instagram pages, and as always, if you'd like to continue to support me so I can keep making these great videos for you, please consider checking me out on Patreon. Bye for now.